Hi guys, welcome to Ritualistically. If you're new here, my name is Mo, and this is typically where I pour tea, coffee, water, wine, whatever the day calls for, shuffle my tarot cards, and track the stars. But occasionally, I do a little forensic astrology, because why the hell not? Since there's this Gene Hackman mystery trending in the news, I decided to cast a chart for it. Now, before we dive in, let me slap a disclaimer on this. This is for entertainment purposes only. There is no science behind this, at least none, in a way that's officially recognized. I'm just curious to see how close or how far astrology gets us to the facts. Now let's get into it. Okay, so let me set the scene with what I know. Gene Hackman and his wife were found dead in their Santa Fe, New Mexico home. He was 95, she was around 65, and they were discovered 9 days after the last recorded event on his pacemaker. He was found in the mudroom with his cane and glasses nearby, as if he had fallen, and she was found in the bathroom with a space heater near her head and spilled medication on the counter. One of their dogs was still in a crate, and it was also dead. But 2 other dogs were found alive. No blood, no signs of forced entry, no immediate cause of death is apparent. Obviously, both bodies showed signs of decomposition, and the news even described them as had begun to mummify. Weird, right? So let's look at what the stars have to say about it. Okay, so when we walk into a horary chart or any chart that we're casting for an event like this, we always come in through the first house because that's where you enter. And the cusp on the first house is Aries. And what do we find? The first thing we find when we come in here is Venus. And she is in Aries. We also find Chiron, which is the wounded healer. And Chiron is also in Aries. And we find the North Node right here at the very end of Pisces, but technically still in the first house. The translation: this chart is telling us that something happened to the wife first. Venus usually represents the wife in a man's chart, and it's right there as we enter. Chiron in Aries screams a wound or trauma, especially to the head, because Aries rules the head. Blood pressure medication was found spilled in the bathroom. That tells me that this could have been a stroke or an aneurysm that occurred to her. Something sudden that left her incapacitated. And the North Node at 28 degrees of Pisces is exactly conjunct Neptune in the 12th house. That's fate, mystery, and confusion. So she likely suffered a stroke or medical crisis first. She collapsed, possibly near the bathroom. She either couldn't take her medication in time, or it wasn't enough to stop the event. Now, the husband's reaction and the mudroom mystery. So, if she collapsed first, why was Gene Hackman found in the mudroom? Okay, so let's look at the 4th house. This is the first, this is the second, this is the third, this is the 4th. This is the house, astrologically, of the home and of endings. And here we have Mars in Cancer. 17 degrees, and it's sitting in the 4th house, and that's emotional distress, reactionary energy, and home-related crises. Mars rules inflammation, stress, blood pressure spikes, which makes sense for a 95-year-old man dealing with a shock. If he was frail, confused, or panicked, maybe he was trying to leave the house for help, He grabbed his cane and glasses, but never made it out. If he had heart issues, which he did, he had a pacemaker, the shock of seeing his wife incapacitated could have been too much for his body to handle. Back up here. Chiron in Aries in the first house here shows bodily injury, frailty, or a fall. His pacemaker recorded his exact time of death, meaning it was cardiac related. Now, he luckily suffered a heart attack or a sudden cardiac event in the mudroom. But the question is, was he alive for a few hours, maybe even a day after she passed? We don't know that. Then there's the dog in the crate. Why did it die? Now, this part is weird as hell. Why was one dog in the crate, but the other two were fine? If the crated dog was in a room with poor ventilation, and some news said that they found him in a closet, it may have overheated. The space heater near the wife's head is a big clue. Did she turn it on before she collapsed? Was it running for hours or days? If the crated dog couldn't move away from the heat, or it was in a closet, it could have succumbed to dehydration, exhaustion, or heat stress. Now, this suggests that environmental conditions played a role in at least one of the deaths, the dogs. That's what the chart is telling us. But here's what the chart does not show. There's no violent aspects between Mars, Pluto, or Saturn. There's no indication of an external attack, so this looks like a tragic natural chain of events. The biggest unanswered questions is, why was the door ajar? Did Gene try to leave? Did someone else enter and leave? Doubtful, but a curiosity. Why were they in regular clothes, not sleeping clothes? At least no one has said they were in sleeping clothes. So did this happen earlier in the day or evening rather than late at night? Was there a phone nearby? If they had one, why wasn't 911 called? Disorientation, dementia, confusion. The final conclusion is that this is a slow unfolding tragedy. She had a stroke or another health crisis first. He tried to react but collapsed from his own frailty. The dog in the crate likely died from heat stress, no foul play, just a tragic medical crisis that no one discovered for days. The chart doesn't just support this theory, it lays it out like a damn roadmap. My final thoughts are that astrology isn't about predicting crime. It's about seeing the patterns of energy that were active at the time of an event. And in this case, the stars align eerily well with the facts. Let me know what you think. Did I miss anything? Do you see another angle? Drop a comment and let's talk about it. Until next time, stay curious, keep tracking the stars, and don't ignore your blood pressure meds. Bye now.